Hello! So for today's tutorial we're going to make these beautiful simple roses. They are so pretty, they could be used for all sorts of things. I absolutely love them. Let me show you the back. They're really easy to do, so let's get started. These today I am using a 4mm hook and some double knit yarn. So for this project I've got out my pot of stitch markers because we're going to be making a chain of 120 and I lose my count so easily, so I like to mark every 20 stitches or every 10 stitches if you prefer, just to help me so I don't have to keep counting over and over again. Okay, so I've attached my yarn to my hook and now I'm going to chain 120. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just going to put my finger on that one, chain one more, give me some space, and then I'm going to pop a stitch marker in there. And I know that that is 10 stitches, so if I have to go back and count again, I can count in tens. So I'm going to continue along until I get to 120. Here I have my chain of 120. The stitch markers every 10 or every 20 if you wish. I'm going to take those stitch markers out and we're going to start working back into the chain. Okay, so working 6 chains from your hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do a US double crochet into that space there, leaving a loop that looks like this. And we're going to chain 2, we're going to skip 2, and we're going to do a US double crochet into that space. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. So we're going to do this all the way along until we get to the end. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. So I shall continue along and I shall come back to you once I've made it to the end. It should look like this. So once I've made it to the other end, I shall come back to you. So I've made it to the end. I just have one last stitch to do in that very first chain. I have something that looks like this. So I'm now going to cut and weave in my ends for this one, ready for my next colour. So I have my next colour on my hook, and this is the end I have just weaved my ends into. So I'm going to attach it to there with a slip stitch. Oops. And I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to do 6 double crochets into this space, and when we include our chain, that is 7 total stitches in that space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this next space here, we're just going to do a single crochet and then straight into another 7 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, a single crochet, 7 doubles. So I'm going to go along until I have 15 of these along. So keep going along until you've counted 15 groups of 7, or 15 petals, should I say. They're petals, aren't they? So I shall continue along, and once I've done the 15, I shall come back to you. I apologise, I said 15, I meant 14, so I've done 14 of these. I'm going to do my last single crochet into that one, and now I'm going to cut and weave in my ends, and as you can see, it's already naturally trying to curl in. So I'm going to cut and weave in my ends, and then I'm going to change back to the green. Okay, so I've attached my green to the next space along from our last single crochet. I'm going to chain 2, yarn over, double crochet, yarn over twice, treble crochet, another treble, now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put our hook back through the top of these 2 stitches here and pull that through, slip stitch through, and then we're going to do 2 trebles. Oops. 1, 2, and 2 doubles. We're going to do a single crochet into the next space. So I'll do that again for you now. So we're doing 2 doubles, 1 into the next space, 2, 2 trebles, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, stitch back in to the top of those 2 with a slip stitch, 2 trebles, my arm's being silly, 1, 2, okay, let's try that again, that's better, 1, 2, and then 2 doubles. And a single crochet into the next space. And there you have your second petal. So we're going to continue along, petal, single crochet, petal, single crochet, petal, single crochet, petal. So I shall carry that along. I might do that one more time for you actually. Yarn over, so 2 doubles, 2 trebles, chain 3 through the top of the trebles, slip stitch, two trebles, and 2 doubles. Single crochet in the next space. So I've made it to the end. I'm on my 6th leaf. I'm just going to do a slip stitch there right at the very end, cut and weave in my ends. So we have a total of 14 petals and 6 leaves. So all my ends are weaved in and we're ready to roll it into a rose shape. Now it's tempting to, with your face side up, roll it inwards like that, but I find actually they do sit better if you roll them with the back side facing you. So start with your very first petal and fold it in half, and then just slowly wind it around itself. You can see it coming together. Oh, these are so pretty. And then you make it 2 leaves and you just keep going. Like so. How pretty is that? That's really lovely. I love this colour. So now we just need to secure it at the back so then you can use it as a brooch or on a headband or whatever it is you decide to use it for. So I shall show you now how to secure it at the back. So I've taken a length of my yarn and threaded a needle, and as you can see when it's flipped over it does sit nicely, all the chain sits nicely together. So I'm going to put my first stitch through the very tip of the last leaf. Slowly, gently wind that round, and where the first leaf starts I'm going to pop a stitch in there. And just pull those together. Now the way I like to sew mine together is to start on the outside and then weave in and out of each spiral going round into the centre, and gently pull it through, and then going from the centre in and out, and going from there back in. This method keeps it really nice and flat on the back, so you can use it for something. And then going back out. As I go out, so my last stitch was here, I'm going to move it along, but then as I go in, I will go in from a similar spot. So I should just move along a little bit to go back in. So that last spot was here, so as I come back out again I shall move it round a bit. I hope that makes sense. Go back in next to it. And then go back out over there. And I find this makes it really secure as a base. For appliquing or attaching to something. Please do leave a comment as to what you're going to use yours for. I would love to know. what you're going to do with yours. I'm thinking of making a wreath with mine. I would like to make a summery wreath with flowers and leaves and pretty things on. How about you? What are you going to do with yours? Do let me know. I'd love to hear what you're up to. And we've made it back round to that first one. And that is now all secure. It's not going to come undone. Look how pretty that is. I love them. I think they're really good. And they're so easy. Just weave that in so I can trim it off. Give it a snip. And there you have it. How sweet is that? I really love these. These are the 3 colours I've made for my wreath. I'm so excited to make it. Like I said, let me know what you're going to do with yours, and I shall see you again very soon for another tutorial. Bye!